Hello, happy day 16. Here today we're going over chapter 7 in Mark. I'm going to read through a couple pages, starting on page 40, and we'll get through a couple pages today. And then next day that we do, that you read, that'll be chapter 8.
So it starts off here talking about traditions and commandments, and it might have sounded a little foreign to you what he was talking about. Back in the Old Testament days, there was a lot of rules that were given, and basically there was these rules that the religious people had to follow. But what Jesus was trying to tell them was that in Isaiah, which is a book in the Old Testament, there's a lot of prophecy, and prophecy is like foretelling what's going to happen in the future. And so one of the things that was prophesied in Isaiah was talking about how the Pharisees were acting during the time that Jesus was alive. So it says, "These people honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me." And so what Jesus was trying to say was that these religious people, they were so focused on rules that they were missing out on the relationship that Jesus wanted to have with them. And so I think sometimes we can get caught up in that, where it's like, okay, we just want to, if we follow the rules and we're good people, then we're going to go to heaven. But unfortunately, that's not what Jesus says. Jesus says that he wants a relationship with you. And when you love someone and you're in love with someone, you'll do whatever you can to make that person smile or to be closer to them. And so that's what he wants from us, is a loving relationship, because rules are just rules, and we get tempted to break rules all the time. But when you're entering in a relationship, it's a lot harder to break those rules because there's love involved.
The next part in chapter 7 talks about what defiles a person. And when they talk about defiling, in the Old Testament, there was a lot of focus on the food that they would eat. And Jesus went on to go and say, look, food is not the problem. I mean, yeah, there was, you should eat this or shouldn't eat that, but food wasn't the issue. And here in chapter 7, he says this: what comes out of a person is what defiles him. For from within, out of the heart of man, comes evil thoughts, sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, coveting, means like wanting something so bad from someone else, wickedness, deceit, sensuality, envy, slander, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within, and those are the things that defile a person. And Jesus is trying to focus on, really, I believe it's not, he's saying, look, don't focus so much on the food, but it's all these things that are coming out of you, and the things are going to come from within. And at the time, the Holy Spirit wasn't working in other people because Jesus hadn't left yet. But this is something that now that we are able to have the Holy Spirit, then we can go and have him inside, to where that should be able to go and help us, to where, yeah, these things can happen, but with prayer and with fasting and spending time with Jesus, we can definitely go and make it to where the fruit of the Spirit would definitely show up with love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, which are a whole lot different, the exact opposite of what was listed right here.
So what Mr. Haley just quoted was actually out of Galatians 5:22. So if you want to read more about how the Holy Spirit helps us in all those things, you can Google that if you don't have a Bible, or if you do have a Bible, turn to Galatians 5:22, and that explains all of that. So moving down to the bottom of page 42.
Oof.
Yeah.
It's titled The Syrophoenician Woman's Faith. And in this situation, it's yet another miracle that Jesus did, where there's a woman and she's worried about her daughter, that there's a demon inside of her. She goes and talks to Jesus because she believes he can make it better. Talks to Jesus. Jesus says, your faith's made your daughter well. She goes back home. Daughter's well. Demon's not there. No more issues. She's gone. So it's just one more example of one of the incredible things that Jesus did, or one of the things, at least it was documented, that Jesus did.
Also, to note that woman that he was talking to was actually a Gentile. And back in those days, the Jewish people, the religious people, they thought that Gentiles were unclean people. They did not get along. They were kind of the outcasts. So the fact that Jesus actually healed a Gentile woman's daughter was kind of a big deal, and was probably going to upset the religious people once they heard of that. So then we continue on. Jesus continues to heal. This time he's healing a deaf man. And if you look at the bottom, the people that are, that saw this miracle happen, again, he said, Jesus charged them to tell no one. So he's continuing to tell people, please keep this quiet. And they are still not listening. It says, but the more he charged them, the more zealously they proclaimed it. So they just would tell the whole world, which I kind of don't blame them, like Jesus performs a miracle, you want to shout it from the rooftops, but he just didn't want to bring all that fame to himself, and wanted to continue building relationships with people. So I love this part at the end. It says, he even makes the deaf hear and the mute speak. They were just astonished at all the things that Jesus was doing.
So in chapter 7, once again, these incredible things that Jesus did that were documented by Mark. And so that wraps up chapter 7. We will start chapter 8 tomorrow. That will begin at the very top of page 44. And then it goes a couple pages. It goes to page 45, and I think, and page 46. So about 2.5 pages of reading. And then, so we'll do those in the next video. If there's things we can pray for you for, please shoot us a text, 559-410-0655. Feel free to call us, or you could email at refugearmona@gmail.com, because we don't want you guys doing this alone, and I'm sure there's awesome people that you can talk to. But if there's not someone that you can talk to right now, or not someone you're comfortable talking to right now, we'd love to talk with you guys.
See you next time.